Welcome to
the Neapolitan
Scoop Podcast.
My name is Stef.
My name is Shay.
And my name is Rose.
So, I have 3 children, and I'm here to talk about life and its journeys with and without all these kids.
And again, my name is Shay. I'm a mother of a 7-year-old who is currently in 2nd grade. And what I plan to bring to this podcast is a bunch of shits and giggles and a bunch of just everyday life things, basically.
And my name is Rose, a mother of 1 girl. She is 17 at this point. She's almost older than I am. And what I want to do is basically just for us to have fun in this podcast.
And bring a lot of ignorant and racist shit.
We're going to tell you a story about that, please. And now we can actually get into why we're going to be using the term and the phrase ignorant and racist a lot on this podcast. Nothing bad, just something we're trying to make fun of, turning a bad situation into something pretty nice and something that we can make fun of. Shay, do you want to explain the story behind that?
Pretty much. So basically with the whole ignorant and racist thing, so we all know about this little situation that went on with the guy by the name of, that I'm not going to mention, but
we're not. But it happened in Houston.
But it happened in Houston, and basically this man basically shot a cop, and they had to basically tear down his or someone's home to get to him.
And so when his house, right?
It wasn't even his house.
Yeah.
No, they tore down the house to get to him. And so by the time they got to him, they basically took pictures of the home and they posted it on social media, right? And so with them walking him out of the home, being arrested and held on by the cops and stuff, I had basically just made a comment, just a couple of words, not even nothing much really, but just a couple of words, just basically saying, I know that they was rough for him. Basically just saying
And the trolls just came for you.
And the trolls just came to me. It wasn't nothing. I wasn't saying that he didn't, deserve to be roughed up. I get it. A cop was shot. A couple cops were shot. So I definitely understand their emotions at that time and the whole energy and like wanting to get their lick back with this dude.
And so for some of y'all, just to give y'all some background, all 3 of us work in the government sector. So all 3 of us have inside scoop on some of this stuff happening. So when Shay's making a comment, it might be because she actually understands a little bit about the topic, right?
Right. I get it. I understand. So all I said was, I'm pretty sure they was rough for him. Man, everybody just came for me as if I said he didn't deserve to be roughed up. I said nothing of the sort at all. Mm-hmm. And it just happened to be this one person who was just completely trolling me. Out of nowhere, he said, well, you're just ignorant and racist. And it made no sense.
And he was what race, Shay? Called you ignorant and racist person.
You called me ignorant and racist out of nowhere for no reason.
You were talking about another African American person.
Exactly. The guy was African American. So I'm not even saying like, oh my God, don't be rough with him. Like, save my bros. Right. Like, no, like he deserved whatever came to him in that situation. So I agree with whoever felt the way. I understand it was a sensitive situation. And when it comes to cops, people feel away. You have people who are on one side and people on the other side. I'm in the middle. I don't really feel away. All I just said was, I know they was rough for him. This man called me ignorant and racist.
And I was gonna say you weren't even taking sides. You were just kind of making an observation, which is true. At least here in the city that we're from, they're kind of known for that. I think our jail for our county is getting sued because of something like that, right? So I think when you made that comment, it was normal. It was kind of like you being that person that has that background. You're like, I bet he got beat up. Like, he didn't just get to jail safely with no bruises on him. That poor man got beat up.
Right. Like, I'm like, I don't, so I just thought that was really, really funny. And I'm like, it came out of nowhere.
Racist and ignorant.
But I was being racist and ignorant, apparently. So ever since then, we decided to make a joke out of this, that when somebody is saying something and it has absolutely nothing to do with racism, it may be a little ignorant, maybe, because we can be ignorant a little times, but it's not to be intentionally to call somebody out on being it's not intentionally to call nobody out on being ignorant or racist. It's just something that I decided to make fun of because I thought it was funny. So you may hear us just randomly when someone is saying something, and it may not even make sense. And then we just might say, "You're being ignorant and racist."
You're being ignorant and racist. Yep.
So that's kind of where that came from.
And we definitely wanted to give you guys the background because we didn't want you to be like, "What are they talking about?" It is an inside joke, and now you're in on it.
Right. None of us are being ignorant or racist, or we're not being racist, but we could be being ignorant.
We might be ignorant.
So
one job.
But it's okay. It's okay. So today we're going to be talking about a famous video, from my understanding, right, ladies? About a child with autism.
Yes.
Who is being mistreated by a professor, a teacher,
someone.
Okay, so do you guys want to kind of tell me about it?
Mistreatment is an understatement. That was straight abuse.
He did. That was definitely, I mean, the situation, how it just looked. So Rose, since you didn't have the chance to see the video, basically, I guess the little boy was basically like a mute, and he had autism, so he probably couldn't talk to explain. But in the video, all we saw was the boy running, and then this teacher, who is of Caucasian race, of course. Well, I ain't gonna say of course. That was something ignorant to say.
Right?
I mean, ignorant racist. Dang it. Okay.
Let's just put it like this.
The teacher was like running after him, and they was running pretty fast. And next thing you know, you see the teacher kind of like smack him, and the boy falls to the ground. Oh, no. And like from the video, it really looked like he hit his head on that you know how hard the school floors are.
Yeah, concrete.
They're like concrete. Yeah. It seemed like that boy hit his head on the floor. So that's what I saw. And then you see the teacher like pick him up upside down and like carry him back to who knows where. The video cuts off at that point. But
it's funny that we're talking about that. I think that kids who are in that kind of 501 umbrella, I think that's what it's actually called in the educational system, the 501 umbrella, any child that has like some kind of disability that they fit into, or like they have to get adjusted because of their disability. And just even remembering my days back in like middle school and elementary school, they never treated them right. They were always pulling them. They were always pushing them. They were always shoving them. It was crazy because as somebody who had their, five senses, per se, I want to say that I'm there, but I would see that and I'd be like, that's not okay. So I don't.
Right.
And we're talking about years later, because I was in school maybe like 20 years ago, in elementary school, and we're talking about now. It's sad that it's still happening, and we haven't evolved from that. We haven't evolved from people treating these kids because they can't communicate, treating them that way.
Yeah, and I know for me, I have a handicapped uncle, and I remember with him, like sometimes when he gets irritated, like he bites his hand and stuff, like he doesn't really know how to cut. Well, to be honest, now he be cursing. He figured out how to express himself,
how to communicate. Yeah.
When he's upset, you can kind of tell. But it's just like, I couldn't imagine that being my uncle, somebody who you can't tell really how they're feeling sometimes at that time. They really can't communicate with you how they feel. And you have people just basically taking advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't want to cut into your serious conversation, but I'm drinking Tito's and orange juice. We are not a sober podcast.
This is all me.
I started drinking before the podcast, so it's best that I don't drink.
She didn't want to look like a drunk in front of people, but she already got her drinks in.
At the end of the day, we grown.
Yeah,
yes,
we
are,
all drinking.
We
after all the shit we put up with during the week.
Period. I just refilled my glass.
So I just refilled mine, and I'm drinking Tito's and vodka. And Shay, what are you drinking?
This is some Barefoot Red Moscato. Although I wish I had Tito's.
You can't hang.
Oh, I definitely can hang. Maybe for a little bit.
Yeah, y'all can't drink with me. I bet you anything y'all can't drink with me.
Bet.
So, I missed that part of the beginning.
I used to bartend.
Oh Lord.
Girl, you could definitely bartend for me any day.
Period.
We need to make it happen. But let's go back to this serious conversation, guys.
Yeah.
Us three,
Yeah.
we're gonna get sidetracked.
Yeah.
So if there's anything you guys need to know, is we're gonna get sidetracked, but we're gonna come back to topic. One of us is gonna be like, let's bring it back.
So what we were talking about was so we were talking about the kid. I kind of missed a part of it. So what was your conclusion, Rose, again?
I was just telling Shay how it's sad that at least when I was in school, I remember them being mistreated. And 20 years later, so because this happened when I was maybe in middle school, it still hasn't changed. And I think the majority of that is because they can't communicate. They can't tell you, hey, somebody's hurting me, which is sad because those are the kids, the population that we need to treat the best, like they can't talk to you. They can't tell you they're hurting. They can't tell you, they can't communicate like maybe you and I can. Right. But I think that's not right. I mean, I definitely, so this is the thing with me, guys, and y'all know I'm the devil's advocate. I'm always going to be like, what's the evidence behind that? Because, of course, a video, all we see is when it starts and when it ends. We don't see what happened before it. We don't see what happened after it.
Right. Which is why so judgmental.
Right. But definitely a person that's a whole adult shouldn't be beating up or hitting or throwing a young child. It doesn't matter what size they are. Because, we saw that a couple of years ago where there was this girl who was on the bigger side and she was tackled by one of her teachers, but she was like in the 2nd or 4th grade. So yeah, you didn't see that, Shay? You didn't remember that a couple of years ago? It was like this young girl, and I think she was also in the like mental health spectrum, and her whole like teacher butted her, like he tackled her up to the floor, and because she wanted like another chocolate milk or something like that. It was ridiculous, and it was ignorant, and it's sad that they're still doing this to these kids, and it's like they can't. I'm glad it got recorded. Yeah, because but again, I don't want to pass judgment because we don't know what happened before, we don't know what happened after, we don't know what led to the event. Yeah,
I think that's the thing. Like what you just said, Rose, is like you're glad it got recorded. I think that's what it is with society today. It's like now we have the technology to record things. I feel like these are things that have been happening for decades. We just never had the technology to record it and bring it to the light.
I'm telling you, it was happening when I was in school about 20 years ago.
But who knows about it? When we were in school, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have anything that could record anything. So it's like now we have all these sources where we're recording stuff. So now people are being held accountable for these things. And now that they're being held accountable, they're like, well, why are, we've been doing this. Why is it that big of a deal? What's a big deal? Because you shouldn't have been doing it from the jump. Period. And it almost goes back to the point where it's like, don't go into a profession if you're not going into it because that's truly what you want to do.
Or if you have a short temper and you can't like handle, it's so many teachers out there who are like,
I was about to say,
no, in relation to teachers, it's so many teachers out there who they don't have patience for kids. And it's like, why go into teaching? First, one, if you don't value education. Second, if you don't value the kids that you're teaching. And third of all, if you don't have the patience to teach them, be patient with knowing that you're teaching a kid. Like everything ain't always going to be perfect. You got to have that understanding that, sometimes it's going to be tough days. It's going to be hard days where you have to do a little bit extra, go above and beyond, and whatever that may look like. But don't sit out here and put your hands on nobody's child because you're going to have these parents that's going to be at your face. You ain't going to like that either.
So my question to both of you.
At your face, because let me tell you, I'm not gonna be at your face.
Good at Orange, I'm just saying, but
she gets into her old Hispanic mama voice.
Yes, because let me tell you,
¿Qué estás haciendo?
Yeah, dime.
¿Qué piensas tú, niño?
Speak English, damn it.
It's that Hispanic mama voice, Shay.
What are y'all saying?
Ain't no recorder in this goddamn
What do you think, child? What were you thinking? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? But like, I don't know, for some reason it's scarier when it's coming to you in Spanish.
Shit, a black woman could say some shit too, and it ain't gotta be in Spanish. It'll still send chills through your spine.
Let me tell you.
I don't know. All these minority mamas, they just scary.
But I would
say that.
Look, and we become the minority mamas.
I was like, there's nothing that child could have done to deserve that. I don't care if he flipped the desk over. You did not treat a child like that. Like that is especially a child that has mental health
disabilities,
or disabilities, whatever it is that child, you don't treat any child like that.
Yeah.
Like you're going to sign up to be a teacher, you need to know that you're going to have to be patient. You need to be tolerant. Sir, first of all, I'm gonna commend this child because he was fast as hell. Look, I would have gave up. Look, sir, you go ahead and run.
I'm just call your mama and have her come get you.
So I'm gonna commend that child. I'm like, sir, you fast as hell. Good. But the fact that that teacher sat up there and hit that baby
and made him fall and hit his head.
Because sometimes things tend to be a little bit more graphic on camera. So I'm like, he didn't hit his head. But
so that's what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask when you say he hit him, did he tackle him? Did he throw him? Like how did he punch him?
He did like one of these like waves, like he was trying to stop him type of stuff. Like he threw his hand out. But in the midst of it, he still kind of hit him to make the boy fall.
Well, I tell you, this little boy was running fast. Like, so the teacher...
Not Speedy Gonzalez.
And the teacher couldn't keep up.
That boy was a track runner in the hallway.
But the teacher couldn't keep up because the teacher kind of was running behind him. And then, like, he kind of caught up and he kind of, like, slapped him in the head.
Yeah.
And the little boy fell down and, like, hit his head.
It looked like he hit his head. And if I know if I hit my head on that concrete, like I just could imagine what he felt like at that time. And I feel like the little boy, when he fell, he may have started crying too. Because I mean, from the video, Rose, you really got to look at it. From the video, it really like he hit his head on that ground. And just imagine hitting your skull on the ground and what that could possibly feel like. Like you probably is dizzy.
It's painful and you can't communicate.
Oh my God. Like I just couldn't imagine that. That shit would make me so fucking mad.
He couldn't communicate. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this was like a substitute teacher or what type of teacher it is, but whatever teacher you are, you should have known that you shouldn't have crossed. Like those are boundaries that you crossed.
So let me ask you something, guys, because I feel like a lot of the time when there's like some kind of aggression from a teacher to a student, it's typically substitute teachers. Wouldn't you guys agree? It's like
because it's usually.
So do you think it comes back to their training? Are they not getting trained correctly? Or are they not being maybe trained like a teacher is? Or is it just because maybe they don't know the child like their regular teacher does?
My personal opinion is training. Like it's like with any job.
Not the training.
Girl,
ladies and gentlemen, just want to do like I want to clear the air. All three of us, the type of work that we do is an adult training. So I don't watch anything when we're laughing. It's stuff that we know it's inside. No. We're not laughing at all at the situation of this child.
Right.
That is definitely not right. We're laughing at the fact that we've kind of dealt with our little things and we deal with training with adults. Yeah. So we dealt with our share of problems with adults. Again, we're not laughing at the fact that the child went through the situation. We're just laughing at the fact that we know a little bit. We know a little bit about having to train.
Because I think we all can agree that if it was any of our kids, I wouldn't be laughing at this situation. I'm not laughing at this kid. When I saw it, I was appalled.
Personal development trainings are necessary. I know a lot of employers think they're not necessary. I'm not going to name any, but they are definitely necessary.
The shade is real.
That is necessary. Like you have to learn how to be empathetic. You have to
empathy is not it goes back to a training. Again, empathy I think was when it comes to emotional intelligence, 43% of people believe that empathy is not valued. It's not something that is valued currently in work or in jobs or in life and period. And I think that we have to have empathy for people. And when it comes to stuff like that, kids like that, we have to have empathy, understand, put ourselves in their shoes, and feel what they're going through, imagine what they're going through. And they don't do that these days.
I feel like in all honesty, as a regular human being, like empathy should come naturally.
It should. But it's like a common sense thing.
I'm not that empathetic, guys. I'm not that empathetic. Sorry.
I'm empathetic depending on the situation. It really depends.
I'm empathetic if I like you, if I love you, if I know you. If it's like you know, type of work that we do, if it's a stranger, it's just like, I'm sorry, you dealt your cards, now you deal with them. I'm not very empathetic.
I think when it comes to empathy, I think like people, and I think that's the problem with our workforce now. Like you have people who go through things that don't talk about them.
Yeah,
right.
I'm one of those people.
Because some people just don't like to feel like
put your business out there.
You don't want to put your business out there,
Yeah.
and then you don't want people to do things for you just because of what you're going through. Like you want to earn what you get. So it's not like, oh, I feel sorry for her, so let me do this for her. So I think that's one of the things with the workplace now. It's like sometimes you see people like react to things or act a certain way, and you don't try to figure out like, why is this person acting like this? Like, is there something deeper than what I'm seeing? But that's where empathy comes in, because sometimes you have people don't even care enough to say, okay, well, what's going on here? Sometimes you just like, okay, well, this is my job. If you're not doing your job, then it is what it is.
And I think that comes more to those people in leadership roles. Like, I'm not in a leadership role. So if somebody else is going through a bad time, I'm going to be, look, the problem with me is I don't know how to react when people are having a bad time. I'm just like, I'm sorry. If I care for you, if you're my friend, if you're having a bad time, if I know you personally, I'm gonna feel your pain because I know you. I know what you are about. I know your background. Maybe I know a little bit of your struggles, but when it's somebody like totally different, so somebody completely new, somebody that I've never dealt with, and they're telling me, oh, well, I'm going through a bad time. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. Because this is the way I see it. We've all gone through bad times.
Still got a job to do. Yeah.
Yep.
Job to the side, we've all gone through like bad times, and we have to get through them. And you know that saying, there's always a rainbow at the end of the store. At the store, girl, why am I thinking about shopping?
The store
at the end of the store. So to me, it's just like some people deal better with stuff like that than others. And I just feel like at this point, look, the type of work that we do, and the type of my previous job. It just made me very empathetic. I was dealing with people who were like murderers, capital murderers, and it just made me kind of like
alleged.
And the same thing with myself. I think when I explained to people about empathy, what kind of made me look at certain situations a little different is the fact that I'm like, a lot of this stuff, it could be anybody. You know what I'm saying? So like, it depends on the situation, obviously. But like a lot of the stuff is like people doing their everyday lives. And it's so when you see type of people that come in, you're like, okay, well, that's not as bad, because I put myself in their shoes. Like, they could have easily been me. It could have been my friend. It could have been my cousin. It could have been somebody that I know. And so, I start to look at certain situations differently. And not all of them. Some of them you just be like, now you knew better. You know, right? And in this situation, you're like, you know what? That could have been me. But that's the empathy part of it. Or like understanding that if somebody's in a certain situation for the very first time, like, okay, you've never been in this situation before. I can understand how you feel right now. So I empathize with you, because if I was in a situation, I'd probably be scared. I'd probably be nervous. I probably wouldn't know what's going on. But it all just depends.
I agree.
You have people who do stuff like this all the time. You have people who've never done it before, and they just got that one time, and they got messed up. So it happens.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I think my level of empathy, I'm a work in progress, and I always tell people that I'm a work in progress, because I know. Look,
I feel like you've come a long way.
I have, but I think that's thanks to you guys. You guys have shown me a lot about being.
It's part of growth, though.
A better person. No, but you got to give. What did they say? You got to give it César lo del César in Spanish. You know how they say that? It's like you. Dale al César lo del César. Like give people their props, and I think you two guys have helped me grow a lot. So I thank you guys for that. And I know we don't want to get all mushy and shit. But I think both of you have helped me grow a lot, and I think it's just kind of just seeing, hey, what are they seeing that I'm not seeing, or why is it that my mentality maybe is a little different?
Makes the brain work.
Yes, of course.
I will say this, like
in a minute, guys.
Okay, so on that note, we'll definitely connect and reconnect, and maybe talk about this at another time. But definitely. We want to definitely thank y'all for tuning in to our very first podcast.
We did it, girls.
My name is Stef.
And my name is Shay.
And my name, of course, is Rose.
And we are the Neapolitan
Scoop Podcast.
Not the T.
Not
Hey,
the
the
tea, but
scoop.
the scoop.
We don't
Not
do
the
tea
tea.
here. We do scoops.
Because we're going to always have the scoop, okay?
And it's real sweet.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.